Hello, this is VTK here from the Vectrex Facebook group. I'm just making a video to show some features on how to use something called Arkos Tracker, which is a music tracker, so you can make music files, what can be played on the Vectrex. There's a guy called Malban, I think most people have heard of him, who makes the VIDE development environment, which is VIDE stands for Vectrex Integrated Development Environment. And he's from version 1.14 of VIDE. You can now import Arkos Tracker music bin file, binary files. And there's a player included within VIDE. The bin files are really small. They don't use very many cycles. I asked Malban and he said when it's playing between 700 and 800 cycles. There's some peaks up around 1700, which is still low. If for example you're trying to do a game which is under the 30,000 cycle limit, which is what most people or a lot of people look at. So let's go ahead and look at Arkos Tracker. You can find it with Google. I'm using version 1.0. I don't think it's been updated for a while. I think version 1.0 is from around 7 years ago. I might hit the odd bug when I'm using it, but I generally, if there's a bug, sometimes I just restart the program. So you have to make sure you save regularly. So I'll load it in now. These files down here, recently I did the music for a game what Malban made called Release. I did the game over music, high score, title music, and the actual in-game music. I was only allowed to use one channel, sound channel, for the in-game music, because Malban used the other two channels for sound effects. So that was a bit of a challenge, but it went okay, I think. So let's load Arkos Tracker. So here's the main window. I'll load one of the songs I did so we can mess around with that and see some of the features and that type of thing. So I'll open the song, high score music. I'll just give a quick play of the song and then we can talk about it, break it down. It's quite repetitive because it was only supposed to be a high score music theme. By the way, I probably should say at this point, sorry for the quality of this video. The video quality and the sound quality I know is not very good. My upload speed is not very good where I live, so I have to use quite a lot of compression on the video and the sound, so sorry about that. Okay, where should we begin? Here you've got the instruments which are used on the song. Actually, let's go to the tracks. So you've got different tracks and patterns. A track is just, this is a track here, for example, this is a bass line track. I'll play that separately. These things here, you can mute the channels. So now we're just playing channel A, which is this one, so I'll play. This button up here plays the song from the start. You can just play from where you are with this one. This one you can just play a same pattern over and over again. The patterns are so number 1 here pattern. This is made up of tracks 2, 3 and 4. This is track 2, 3 and 4 here on the right hand side. So let's turn those back on. So you have the instruments over on this side, bass, drum and snare, which are used on the drum track here. I'll play that now. I'll mute the other channels. So this number here is the instrument number, so 01 is the bass drum, which you see here. The reason I you have the instrument names here, so here's what the instrument looks like on instrument editor. Don't be, if you're not sure about this type of thing, don't be intimidated by it. You pick it up easily, it's not difficult, it's okay. So there's what the bass drum looks like visually, the instrument. I put a C5 here because I decided to use the bass drum at the C5 pitch. there's a test area. You can click the button to hear the pitch at C3. You can use your keyboard to play at different pitches on your computer or laptop, so you can see the number changing. Sorry, the pitch changing. So to change the octave, because the keyboard on your computer or laptop will be limited to just a couple of octaves, you use this button here. So if I want to play it much higher, I can go up to 5 or 6, and now you can hear that. So I put C5 as a reminder to myself that when I'm using a bass drum to do it at pitch C5. So if I go down a little, and there's C5, which sounds okay. And the snare I was playing at C4. Which I thought sounded okay there. I mean, I could play it much higher if I wanted. I could go to... But it sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? It's better at C4. So when you're ready to... so you have your instrument, there's a hi-hat, bass line is here, and there's a beep sound. So you go back to the pattern. When you want to put in the instrument information, you press a space bar and you'll notice it goes red. You saw it go red around here, which means edit mode is on. If I press space bar again, edit mode is off. Use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move around. So if I select drum, edit mode on, I could delete them with the delete key. And there's number 1, you can see this, that's another bass drum, I can take that out. I'll play the pattern. So you can see the bass drum is missing now. Now I'll put it back. I'm still on edit mode, you can see it's red around the sides. So I'll put the bass drum back in. C5, wasn't it? So there's some basic editing there. This number over here is the speed of the song. So obviously you can change that. Let's go to the pattern. If you want it faster, you decrease the number. So let's put in... I need to be on edit mode, so I was in edit mode, but edit mode is on now. 0, 5. So you see that's faster. It's a funny situation with this. Sometimes you want to speed up, which is actually in between, because the range isn't great. So speed 5 you might think is too fast, or speed 6 is too slow in some situations. You can do a trick where you change it between 0, 6, 0. Let's put some more in. You can keep changing the speed every step. So 6, 5, 5. And now it'll play at a speed of 5.6, which is in between the speed in between 6 and 5. So that's a trick you can do if one of the speeds you're using is you think is a little bit too fast, but then if you jump down, play it a slightly next step down, it's too slow. You can go in between, like I've just shown you. So let's get rid of what I just did and leave it at... Was it at 6 by default? I can't actually remember now. I don't think it was it? Probably at speed 7. Let's load this. I'll load the song again. Open song. Oh, it was actually at speed 7. So let's play that again. So over on the far left hand side is a bass line. There's not really much to say about that. I'll play the pattern. And it's, you can see number 7 there, so it's using instrument 7, which is a bass line. And this is the lead sound, well, the BP type sound. Let's play that. So it's using instrument 6, which is this. You can go into this instrument, you can go into and check it out here. I'm pressing my keyboard now to change. So let's go back to the pattern editor. I'm doing a trick here where this number here is a volume. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. So anything you see in these blue columns, is that where oh God. That's the instrument volume. So I'm doing a trick where you play at full volume, then play an echo sound to A. It ranges from, it's in hex, so 1 is obviously really quiet. You wouldn't hear 1. We barely hear it. Let's put that out. Let's put it down to 0 so you can hear it without the echo. So I'll play that now, and you can see hopefully you can hear the difference. If I put the echo back in, so we want some quieter volume. Let's say it was on 8, I think, wasn't it? Hopefully you can pick up. That's a little trick you could use to make it sound a little bit, maybe a little bit more interesting. So what else is going on? Let's go. The tracks, which are these are the channels A, B, and C, as we know now. You can mute them, and so the tracks can be different. Like each track has got a height. It doesn't have to be 10. It could be anything. You could, well, it's obviously a limit, but you could go to, let's go to 20. So I've changed the height now. So when I go, you can see the tracks are bigger now. So I could put more data, song data in down here. You can decide for yourself whether you want big tracks, but for this song I just needed smaller ones. So that back to 10. Okay. What else can we do? So there's a slide. What happens? I'll show you the slide. So I'll play the song and you'll hear the slide come in on the channel B around this point when it jumps down to this pattern. So let's play the song from here. I'll turn on the channels. That's the slide. So I'll go back. I'll turn off these so you can hear it, and I'll use this button to play pattern from the start, so it jumps back up and plays it from here. So here's the slide again. Obviously I'm just playing a pattern at a time now. I can play the song from there so you hear the more of the slide. Let's go. So some of you may have worked out already. This column here is the pitch. -1 means you go slide it down. You could do +1 if you could slide it up if you prefer. And here is just some volume changing going on in this one. So the instrument 05. Let me. I think I'm playing it. Let's stop that. Stop that sound. I was playing it at E3, so let's go to. I'm just using my keyboard to find where E3 is. There it is. So I'm playing it from there. Now this line here, you can see it's green colour. This means loop, the instrument. So if I turn that off, if you click it, it goes blue, and now it just plays it once. So I'll turn the loop back on. Arpeggio is kind of playing the notes. How do you explain arpeggios? You might want to Google it actually, but it's just playing it at a pitch, not just at normal pitch, but at a number of notes happening. It sounds like a number of notes happening at once. These are just quite random numbers actually I put for the slide, so I could change those. Let's go, just do an experiment, shall we? I'm just putting in random. It's in hexadecimal. You can see I'm using numbers and up to A, B, C, D, E, and F also. So 17 F. These are just random numbers I'm putting in. And now it'll probably sound a little bit different. You can actually change the numbers while it's playing, so. So I've changed the instrument there. If I go to the pattern, it'll sound different when I play from here now. So you can see it's different now because I've just changed the instrument. So let's go, what else can we say about that? And if you could slide up, so let's, how do I do that again? Change, this, there is a manual, I'll change it first and we'll talk about the manual. How do I do it? Unlock. Plus. Oh, what did I do? I just pressed something by mistake, hang on a second. Plus, so there we go. It's using the what's it called, a numeric keypad, the plus sign, so I'm changing them to plus now. I'll go forward to this next one to put those up to. So let's play from there. It'll slide up now this time. You can see what happens there, the volume's going down. So it's just fading the instrument out. You can change the speed of slides, by the way. So we could have it slide much faster if we set this to 10. Oops, 10. God. 10. It's just a case of experimenting with the numbers. So that'll go fast. Let's do that. It's gone up so fast. That's a big increase, obviously, from that's 16 steps because obviously it's in hexadecimal. I was sliding at a speed of 1 and now I'm seeing it at a speed of 10. So it's obviously really fast now. But anyway, you can change those numbers. Is there anything I haven't mentioned? There's not a huge amount of things to learn really. You've just got the volume of the instrument here, pitch, speed of the song over here. What else can we talk about? Oh, I was going to mention the manual. So let's go. I'll minimize this window. So in the Arkos, when you install Arkos Tracker, you'll see in the folders. Excuse me. In the manuals thing, so you've got the keyboard. It'll show you tell you some keyboard shortcuts in here. So you could play F5 to play the song. You could use F5 to play the song rather than use the buttons if you prefer. Some people prefer to use the keyboard shortcuts. Other people prefer to use a mouse. You can just decide for yourself. I'm not sure about the. I've never looked. What's this player? I'm not sure about that. It's for programmers, I expect. Manual. Here we go. So it's a really good idea to read through this manual. It doesn't matter if you read through it and don't take it all in or understand it all, because no one says you're only allowed to read something once, and then that's if you don't learn and you've failed. I mean, that's an important lesson I've learned. Just taking some, you can just take in some of it at a time, and you go back to it to refer for reference and that type of thing. About things like the instruments and it's lots of useful. Oh, he even talks about the VIDE sound chip, I think. So let's. Also included is there's an Arkos Tracker demo song. And there's also quite a lot of, they're called SKS songs. I think they're to do with the Amstrad CPC 8-bit computer from the past, in the 80s. You could load those into Arkos Tracker and save them as Arkos files, or just you could save them as binary files, which you could play on the Vectrex if you wanted. You could probably look around the internet and find more of these SKS files or Arkos files. So what else is in here? Oh, there's some instruments you can mess with. So let's go back. Oh, I'm on edit mode, you can see it's red. So what else can we talk about? So you have the patterns here. Remember, these are the channels 1, 2 and 3 here, A, B and C. So for these track, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, these are the tracks as we know. So for the first pattern it plays track 2, 3 and 4. So there's 2, 3 and 4. We could say, oh actually for the first we want to play 2, 2 and 4, so just put a 2 in there. And now you can see, not that we really want to do that, you could probably sound rubbish, but now it's playing the bass line in channels A and B, and then the drums in C now, because we've changed. So let's change that back. Hopefully you can get an idea of how the pattern editor works. So for the start of the song, for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could just see it's just playing tracks 2, 3 and 4 over and over again. You'll see this move down. Now it's pattern 0, 1, 0, 2, and the slide comes in down here, which is track 5. So we'll hear that now. There's a slide which we changed. It sounds like garbage, obviously. Should we load that? Let's load that again. High score. So we were down to about here, weren't we? Just jumping down. And then the slide comes in here. And then fades out there. And then for the last 4, there's nothing on. It's 0. I've set 0 as an empty track. And it'll jump back now, repeat. Now back at the start of the song again. So you can add patterns by just using this. I'll delete everything. So now the song is just one pattern. So when I play the song, that's the whole song now. I could add some more patterns and say you can delete one if you, or patterns with this button, add and delete. I'm not sure what they do. I don't know what. Delete. So we could say for the first 2 patterns we want everything plain, and the last 2 we don't want drums. Let's say patterns, the last 2 we don't want drums, so we'll put those as empty. So now the song, the first 2 patterns will have drums. Hopefully you're getting an idea of how the pattern editor works. If you just play around with it, you learn quickly, because there's not really a great deal to it compared to some other. I mean, I used to use the Amiga, I think it was called Pro Tracker back in the day. That was probably much more going on with that, but this is, I'd say this is more minimal than that, to be honest with you. There's less features. So replay 50 Hz, it says there. For the Vectrex, you'll just leave that alone. Just leave it at 50. Speed of the song, obviously if I change it here, that will change. At least I think it will. 05. Will that change? Yeah, now the speed there has changed. So we've changed the speed of the song there. 7 was what it was. Steps. Steps is just to do with editing. So when I put, I'll go to here. When I put, this is track 0 now, I'm editing on this side here. So when you put things in, it'll just jump by 1 step, but you can change that if you want. So you could have, actually, I was in C5, wasn't I? So I'll delete. So I change the step now, it's doing 1 step at a time there, to 2. See, it jumps the gap now, so it's useful for various reasons. That won't sound good, but it sounds like this. So you're getting the idea. So let's clear that now. You can change the height. So some of them could be longer patterns than others. So you can see that. There's something I haven't mentioned is called transpose. It's a way of programming. It's good for programs and saving space, being more efficient. I'll show you that in action. I think I'll show you that in action now, actually. So I'm going to clear it. I'm going to put in. So now we just have a song which does a bass line over and over again. So at the moment the bass line track is at a certain pitch. Let's play. We can play that rather than making new tracks and taking more space up and putting them all in at a different pitch. We can do it with transpose. So if we click on, how do I do it again? Oh god. Oh yeah, it's this one. This magnifying glass here. If I click on, you can see TRP transpose here for track channel A. So we'll play the first one at the normal pitch we just had, but let's go up a bit. So I'll put in number 2 here. Actually, I'll put in number 3 below and then number 4. So now listen to what's happening. I'll play the song from the start. So as you can hear, I think you can put can you put negative numbers in there? How do I put in negative numbers? Maybe you can. I'll try. 4. I don't know if this has actually worked, but I'll put in negative numbers in. Oh, it is working. So hopefully you can understand what transpose is there. It's a good way of recycling, but not having to put in all the notes again in a different. You just play at a different transpose, which is a different pitch of section and a different pitch. So hopefully I've explained that okay. What else should we do? I'll load this song again. So you can see I've not used any transpose bit. That switches back to the height view where it shows the height and that type of thing. So I think we've chatted quite a lot about this area around here, the instruments. What's that, record? Oh, that's just it. You can use spacebar to turn edit mode on and off, so we're off edit mode now, so we can't make changes to anything. You can press spacebar or you can use this button. What's that? Follow scrolling. Now, when I put edit song information, you can put a song name in here, and if you want to put your author name or something like that. These things here, I'm not an expert at this type of thing, but when I was doing this Malban, the programmer said to just leave. Don't worry about all this stuff, just leave it. You can see how long your song is down here. This particular song, the high score music, is 0 minutes 35 seconds before it loops around. So you can save file, save song as. You can save it as an Arkos Tracker song and come back to it another time and do your editing. You can export. And this is what I'll show you about. you can see the high score music here is 27k. I mean, obviously that's way too big for using with a Vectrex. If you think some games are 32k, so I mean, look, so when I'll show you when you export as a bin file. So open file, export as binary. I'll just call it highscore2.bin. Save. Malband told me to change this to 0. I'm afraid I don't know the technical details of all that, but you can change that hex number. So song successfully exported. But the bin is 1k. Look, that's much more like it. We can use that. That's what this is a file with the VIDE, the environment we'll use. This is the file we'll use within the Vectrex game, a nice small 1k file. So what else to show? We'll go to, so there's edit, song information. I've not looked at help. As I say, just look at the manual for help. Open instruments and save instruments. If you load a, rather than make your own instruments, you can just use instruments from other songs and you can edit them a bit if you don't like the idea of using other. There's nothing wrong with using other people's instruments. So I mean, they're obviously basic. A lot of them are quite basic and similar sounding anyway. So if you load a random song, sort of swearing down there. I'll open this song. I don't know if it's. Let's play it. So he's using quite a lot of echoey type effects there. He hasn't actually named his instruments anything, but he's definitely. We know he's using instruments. You can leave them as blank names if you want, but if we look at them anyway, so there's an instrument. If I decide I like it, I can. Some people name their instruments, some people don't. You could always give it your own name. So let's just call it deep sound. And I might think I want to use that myself, so I'll just file. Save instrument, save it wherever you want in here. I saved it as an AKI instrument, Arkos instrument file. So now when I load one of my songs, like the high score, oops, I've just clicked the wrong, hang on a second. High score, it's still in the instrument window. So I could go to this empty instrument. We can add more empty instruments here by this button. So here's another one. You can add some more instrument banks, so you can load in your own ones. So this one's, I don't know, this one's empty. So you can see there's nothing in here. Look, just an empty instrument bank. So file, open instrument, beep sound. Now in our song I could use that somewhere if I wanted. I could use the beep sound I've just saved. So you can load and save instruments, that's useful. Instruments in general, you can read the manuals for more about how instruments, the sounds are made up, but you could just experiment. I won't pretend to understand all of it even myself, to be honest with you. Some of it, let me have a think. So this one, I'll go to my slide. Bass. Yeah, because that's quite a basic sound. So as you can see, it's blue, which means don't loop it. If I looped it, it would sound like this. But we don't want that on this instrument, so we'll turn off the loop. So it just plays once each trigger. Pitch just gives it some, I don't know how you'd explain it, just makes it sound some more character, I suppose you'd use that word. So on this and that, it just gives it a bit of vibrato. We could put these up, but it might not sound very good, but we could put these up higher numbers. That doesn't sound too bad actually. You could put as much as you want. Go. Remember, it's hex numbers, so when I get to 9, next number is actually A. B, C, I don't know if people, D, E, F, and then the next number will be 10, 11. So remember, it's in hex. So, I don't know, 9. Sounds quite good actually. Certainly usable. The minus ones, 9 means go up in pitch. Obviously the minus ones mean go down. So 9 minus. How do I put the minus again? Minus. So you could be much more extreme if you want. You go to first, big numbers like this. Just experiment. There's a pitch going up and down. This envelope here is a volume. So if I just make a basic sound with none of this pitch messing around. You can edit this with your mouse, just as a volume, so you can see it starts high the volume and then fades out. So you just use a mouse to draw. I could do this instead. So you could hear it starting quieter and going up in volume. You could do an echo type. There's a feature here for polyphony on and off if you want to just mess around and experiment, test what an instrument would sound like in polyphonic. Polyphonic means when you press the key to trigger the instrument again, it'll do that on a different channel rather than stop the existing one. So this is with polyphonic off. If I turn it on, this might not be the best example. Hang on a second. I'll do it now. You should be able to hear it. If I turn it off, it's not too important, just a feature of hearing instrument in polyphonic mode if you prefer to hear it that way. What else? Okay, so we haven't spoken about noise yet, have we? So noise is an interesting option of the way the AY sound chip works is you can't, as far as I know, you can't really have more than one instance of noise playing at once. It just kind of all messes up. So you couldn't really, if we go back here, you don't really want noise playing on this channel and also trying to play it at the same time on this channel somewhere and here all at once. It'll just sound all messy and nasty. You should only play noise once on one instrument at a time, really. So I am using noise, let's see, yeah, I am using noise on this channel here. You can use just noise, or you can use just regular sound, or noise and the sound combined if you want to. So if I go to the hi-hat, that's just using noise. If I play it, because it's just green means so, and the cross means use noise. So I think if I change that to green, you could hear that using sound and noise combined. The noise is down here. I could turn that off. and now it's just a beep sound. So if I set that to noise again, you can't hear it because I haven't really turned the noise on here. Now you can hear changing this changes the kind of variation sound. It just changes the character of the noise you want. So down here is quite a high pitched type of noise, which is why I used 0-1 for the hi-hat. Because we're not using a pitch, we're using just noise. It doesn't matter what you press, what note you play at, it always sounds the same. So even if I went down to the lowest octave, actually lowest one's 0, I think, it doesn't make any difference, it always sounds the same. That wouldn't be the case if it was a note, because if I turn off the noise and make them a pitch, okay, so, oh, and the shape is, that's just the attacks kind of shape of the sound. So I actually use 2 hi-hats in the song. One's just slightly sounds different from the other one. Let me turn that back. You might not hear it on this video because the quality is really rubbish, I know, but the recording quality is rubbish. But I don't know if you can pick it up, but they sound very slightly different. So when you play, it just gives it a very slight amount of variation, and if it's not essential, it wasn't essential, but just being picky, I suppose. So that's some talking about the noise. I think on the snare drum, I'm using I think I loaded someone else's snare drum, but I ended up really changing it. So just change it to just messing around until I thought I liked the sound. So you see it looks like a right mess, but it sounds okay. Just really a case of experimenting, really. If I turn these down, it's not too bad. You can see the envelope of the volumes kind of starts high and goes low. This probably won't sound good, but just showing you what a difference. Oh, you see it's using some pitch there. I'm probably not explaining this very well, but I think the only advice I'd give is just load someone else's instruments if you want. I could load someone else's snare. Actually, there's some. Let's load an instrument. Instruments, drums. See, there's a lot included with Arkos Tracker. You could just load a snare. I don't know. He's actually put C3 to say it sounds best in C3, I guess. So let's go down. I don't actually like that snare much. It sounds a bit nasty, doesn't it? So you could always edit it and try and make it sound how you want it to. But you just experiment. So is there much else to mention? Where are we now? Oh god. There are some more advanced features you can do. There's something called hardware envelopes, where if you get into those, you can end up with some kind of flanging, modulating type sounds you might be familiar with something like the Commodore 64. They're quite good for bass lines, where you get some sort of flanging, modulating type sound. They're to do with hardware envelopes. You set shapes. I right-clicked here, and you can set a shape like a triangle. I haven't really gone into that much myself. And for the release music I did with Malban for the game, I didn't use hardware envelopes myself, but You can look into it, read the manual, it'll talk to you about it. You can always load someone else's songs who's using hardware envelopes. I'll see if I can find one now. I probably should have prepared this earlier for one with... I'll just load a random... let's see. What's this? I'll go down as instruments and see if I can find any... Oh, there's one. That's a hardware to use the triangle shapes. You can kind of hear that phasing sound, can't you? There's a kind of phasing sound. That's what hardware envelope's all about, those kind of sounds. It's probably a case of reading the manual and experimenting with other people's sounds. You can save that instrument or something similar if you want. They generally seem to work better on low bassline type sounds. They don't sound so... I don't think they sound or work so well on higher pitched. I don't know what this song's actually... Oh, I've got these channels turned off, so let's turn them on. You can jump forward if you want to hear. She's using slides there, where we just heard, and there, changing the volume on this. We can just listen to. Turn off these two. That's quite good, is what he's doing, isn't it? I'm not sure there's much else to talk about. Hopefully you've got an idea of... should be able to get started with that. Is there anything else to talk about? If I do a new empty song, there's a first sound there anyway when you do a new one. Just a basic sound. So if I go... You're at the height of the track, you can change it to anything you want, so you can make it 20. It's now shorter. Remember it's in hexadecimal, but it has a height of 20. Speed, you can say I want the song to play at speed. Turn on edit mode. Speed 6 or 7 or something. And then here, or anywhere you like. At the moment pattern we've got 1, 0, 1 and 2 selected, so if we change here we're changing track 1. So you can't hear it because I've muted the channels, hang on. So you can see what's happening here. So the pattern is consisted of track 0 which is empty, 2 which is empty, and 1 which we've just put some data in. So I think the only other thing to say is to just experiment. If you're not sure or confident with this type of stuff, just experiment. You'll learn it quickly. It's not too much to it really. Sorry again about the quality of the video. Hopefully you've picked up some tips. It's certainly a brilliant way to do music on the Vectrex, especially now because Malband's incorporated routines in VIDE programming development kit, so you can easily get these songs over to the Vectrex, and they'll be played and saved in a really efficient way. So it's an excellent way. You can save as YM files, export as YM, but they're not as efficient. They're bigger than the Arkos binary files, and the player won't be efficient to use YM files. So not really a great deal else to say. I hope you've liked the video. You can always ask me questions, or I could do a follow-up video if I need to. That's it, so I'll sign off. Thanks for watching. Hello, this is VTK again. I thought I'd talk a little bit more about arpeggios and also the speed of an instrument. I didn't explain them very well. So let's to help explain, I've just used a browser to find a virtual piano online, which is this one. You can use the mouse to, this will help me explain arpeggios, and you can use the mouse just to press the keys. So I'll load Arkos Tracker now. You might have noticed, by the way, when I maximise, there's a funny distortion down here. I don't know, it's just my laptop. When I do that and then up again, it goes away. Anyway, okay, so we've got a new song. We'll just use the sound here to explain. So let's go with the arpeggios then. Actually, we'll do the speed of an instrument first. You can change the speed here. I didn't mention it before. So let's draw a certain shape where the volume kind of goes up and down. This is just an example of the speed of the instrument. If I play that now, speed 0 is the fastest. If I increase that to 6 or something, so it's going along, it's playing the high volume and it goes down. So you could change it. Hopefully you get the idea what's going on. I could slow that right down if I wanted to. This, hopefully you can follow. That's easy, isn't it? I'll follow it with my mouse. What's happening? It's playing. Okay. That speed is obviously it's important for when you're using arpeggios. You can use it, it's important for other things too. But with arpeggios, let's draw a more regular shape. Okay. Now arpeggio, the purpose of an arpeggio is you can make chords. Obviously, computer, especially the old sound chips of computers, were limited with channels. So if you want to do a chord of 3 notes, you'd use all of your 3 channels would go if you want to. That's a chord. But you've used all your channels up. That wouldn't really be good enough, would it, if you want to do other things? So you simulate, arpeggios are simulating a chord, so you can just use it in 1 channel. So let's do that now. So we have to figure out with numbers. 0 is the starting point of the chord, for example a D3 or wherever you are, and then these next, when you put in new numbers, it steps up from D3. So I'll explain with, I'm just using D as an example. This is D on the piano. You can do it any way you want, but let's just use D. So that's the chord, you can hear. So we're going to count the steps. So first one is 0, we're starting from 0. Our next note is there, so the steps obviously include the black notes and the white notes. So as a start, 1, 2, 3. So the second note of the chord is 3 steps up. So let's go here and put in a 3 here. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And the next one's here. So we'll count that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. so 7. So that's our chord 0, 3 and 7, and we want to keep repeating that. So 0, 3, 7, 0, 3, 7, 0, 3, 7. You can make the instrument long when short, obviously, by just dragging. Actually, when you put numbers in, it just makes itself longer, I think. If we went, you can see it's making itself bigger to keep up with you. But obviously, there's no volume down here, so you need to put some extra volume. So let's play that chord. Now I can slow that down. If I do it really slow, you can hear the changes. So hopefully you can see what's going on there. It's not too difficult, is it? So I'll go to a normal. So we can call that a name if we want, like arpeggio 1, arp 1. Now if we want to do more, we want more chords, we can use this button, duplicate instruments. So I'll click that. Now we have 2 of them. I'll go into the second one, and we might say we want another chord. So instead of, we want that one. So that one's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just do that again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's go to Arkos Tracker, the second one, 0, 3, 6. And we'll play that. So that should be pretty straightforward, and we'll just put them in a song. And this one. Oops. And that's pretty much explaining arpeggios and the speed of an instrument. So I hope that's been useful. I don't know if I've forgotten anything else. So I could always add some more to the video if I think of anything else. Thanks for watching.